you almost don't believe that it's real because it's like your friend, it's a resident here. It's like, how is this happening in my own backyard, my own apartment complex?
The search for a missing Beaverton nurse ends in tragedy. Thanks for joining us on this special edition of KGW News. I'm John Adams. Police say they've arrested a neighbor who now faces murder charges. 32-year-old Melissa Jubain went missing Wednesday, which set off multiple searches, including one just last night. Our Sydney Dorner has more on the man arrested in connection with a young woman's murder.
Beaverton police have recovered Melissa Jubain's remains, but have yet to say exactly where she was found, arresting her neighbor, 27-year-old Bryce Schubert, who they believe was involved in her disappearance. He's now facing a charge of second-degree murder. Oscar Cardenas met Melissa Jubain years ago while working at the Nike company store, when they were both students at the University of Portland, saying she always wanted to help people and reach her goal of one day becoming a nurse.
Such a hard worker, such a sweetheart. And being a nurse, that's like just the most selfless career ever.
They kept in touch over the years through Instagram.
She had such a beautiful life and just such great people around her. Every time she posted on Instagram, she was so happy and just so, like, I don't know, just glowing.
Both settling down at the same apartment complex in Beaverton off Southwest 160th Avenue and Baseline Road, where Melissa went missing on September 4th.
This area of town is just so quiet and so calm and so safe, so it's just shocking that something like that would happen here.
Setting off searches by family, friends, and most importantly, Beaverton police. During their investigation, police said they learned Melissa's neighbor, Bryce Schubert, was involved in her disappearance, arresting the 27-year-old on a charge of second-degree murder.
It's like, how is this happening in my own backyard, my own apartment complex? But yeah, it's just terrifying, honestly. It's scary that, you know, somebody could take away such a beautiful life, so young too. Recovering
Melissa's remains, but holding off on saying exactly where.
I can't even wrap my head around it. It's just so heartbreaking that it would happen here, and we're just gonna miss seeing her beautiful smile and just light up the energy around us.
Now, Melissa was an RN at Providence's St. Vincent Medical Center, which is close to her home. They alerted police Wednesday morning when she didn't show up to her shift. They say her friends, family, and coworkers are in their hearts and prayers. We will have more details on this as Beaverton police continue to release more information. Back to you.
All right, Sydney, thank you. The Oregon Nurses Association is inviting the public to join Melissa's colleagues for a vigil Monday night. It's scheduled to begin at 6 at Ridgewood View Park. Well, it's new tonight. Police in Astoria arrested a man for murder after a deadly stabbing at a homeless shelter. Officers were called to the Helping Hands Outreach Center on West Marine Drive sometime after 2:15 this morning. Witnesses reported seeing 58-year-old Stephen Foxon stabbing the victim. Police brought Foxon into custody about 20 minutes later. The victim was taken to the hospital but died of his injuries. The department asked anyone with information to reach out. In Washington, search and rescue teams found the survivor of a plane crash this afternoon after the aircraft went missing Friday. WashDOT also confirmed they found one other person dead. The search and rescue team was called just after 3 when a World War II era plane broke away from its 3-plane formation and never arrived at its location. They left from the Enumclaw area and were heading to Hood River for the annual Fly-In fundraiser. The crash site was found about 3 hours later in the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest, about 12 miles northwest of Stevenson. The identities of both people have not yet been verified. The investigation is now in the hands of the NTSB. And along the Willamette, Clackamas County deputies Friday recovered the body of a Beaverton woman who went missing last weekend. The sheriff's office identified her as 34-year-old Cortland Fricker. The search for Fricker started last Sunday after a caller reported she fell off a boat and did not resurface. Well, nearly a weekend, we continue to follow up on Oregon's new drug laws and how enforcement is unfolding across Portland. Yesterday, we sat down with Multnomah County's chief criminal judge, who says so far he's feeling skeptical because of some shortcomings. One issue, offering deflection outside of regular work hours. Right now, it's up to the court to act as a temporary deflection center. That's because the county postponed opening an actual center that was planned to open when hard drugs were recriminalized September 1st.
This whole using the court to, deflect people into deflection thing. We all came up with that in the last week because we had to respond to the fact that it wasn't going to happen in the community.
Those who don't qualify for deflection are supposed to go to jail, but due to a lack of public defenders, they're often released back onto the streets.
For these drug enforcement misdemeanors, most of them are going to be released pending trial.
He says more services are needed in the county, and until then, he's not sure the new law will make a difference in Portland's drug crisis. Well, there was a step forward in Northeast Portland Friday. One of the county's drug deflection partners held a grand opening for a new sober living center for people in recovery. The 40-unit complex is in the Beaumont-Wilshire neighborhood. 4D Recovery said it will serve teenagers and young adults from the ages of 14 to 35 and is specifically designed to help those who are graduating from residential treatment facilities. Residents will stay for about 1 year to work on abstaining from substances as they build independence and self-sufficiency. The project is funded by CARE Oregon. Well, turning out of weather, smoke and haze from wildfires continues to pour into the Portland metro area and really through much of the state of Oregon right now. Here's a live look outside. You can see just before the sunset how thick that smoke was tonight. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri is here. And Joe, is this going to improve anytime soon? How bad is the quality of air out there right now?
The air quality is not bad. It's still moderate. It's not good, but again, it's not as bad as it could have been in a few locations across the east side of the state. But here's a look at the smoke that is basically encompassing much of the state of Oregon and into Washington as well. A little bit thinner along the Oregon coast, but as we put this into motion, that smoke really won't let up heading into tomorrow. We really need a change in the weather pattern for that to happen, and that change won't come for the next couple of days, but it will start to thin out a little bit heading into the later part of tomorrow afternoon and the evening hours. You can still see it'll be kind of moderate a good portion of the day. That we go into the later portion of Sunday night, basically 24 hours from now is when we can expect to see that smoke kind of lighten up a little bit. But as we look at the air quality right now, John, you can kind of see along the coast, you're in the good category. That's because you're starting to see a thinner layer, but up in the upper levels of the atmosphere, the smoke is just basically sitting over much of the metro area and throughout the valley and into eastern Oregon as well. Picking up a little bit of some oranges and some yellows. Those are the unhealthy category. We're also tracking some thunderstorm activity east side of the state and over the Oregon Cascades. I'm not expecting to see those thunderstorms move into the metro area. They could produce some light showers here and there, but that is about it. And I'll talk more about your detailed forecast in about 10 minutes from now.
All right, Joe, thank you. We'll see you later in the show. Oregon's wildfire season picking up yet again. Yesterday, Governor Tina Kotek invoked the Emergency Conflagration Act for two separate fires. They're the Rail Ridge Fire in Crook and Grant counties and the Shoe Fly Fire in Wheeler counties. These are the 15th and 16th conflagrations this season. Now, this action allows the state fire marshal to send resources to those fires. As of Friday, there were 23 large fires in Oregon. A pair of crashes in Portland Friday night sends two pedestrians to the hospital. The first one was just before 8:40 at Southeast 158th and Division. Police say the pedestrian had life-threatening injuries. The intersection was closed while a crash team investigated. The second crash happened less than 30 minutes later at the intersection of Northeast Halsey and 137th. In this case, the pedestrian is expected to survive. In both cases, the drivers stayed at the scene and were interviewed by officers. Well, a small food truck business has been forced to close its doors for now after facing massive damage from being hit by a car. Our Celine Stevens spoke with the owner of the food truck to learn more about what happened. Celine?
John, that's right. The food truck, which is run by Michael Frazier and his partner, have only been open for business for 3 months. But Tuesday night, a police officer was driving alongside East Burnside Street when he saw a food truck with massive rear end impact damage. Frazier, the owner of the Burnsider food truck, said while he and his partner were not in the truck at the time of the crash, he was planning to go and begin cleaning it up for the next morning before the crash happened. That driver left the scene, but witnesses told officers where to find her. Police eventually found the driver in a wrecked car who had been identified as 49-year-old Linda Gibson. Gibson's 7-year-old daughter was also in the car. That car was reported stolen and had switched license plates, and Frazier says this comes as a blow and is now asking the community to donate to his GoFundMe so he can hopefully raise enough money to fix his truck and go back to serving the community.
It's hard. Like I don't have another job. I don't have the time to go out and work a 9 to 5 and then come back and then do everything for a one-man operation at a food truck. It's just not feasible.
As for Gibson and her daughter, police reported that they were not hurt. Gibson was arrested and now faces charges, but was also released from jail Wednesday. John, back to you.
All right, Celine, thank you so much for that report. Well, a traffic update for a stretch of I-5 in southwest Washington. A construction project that tied up traffic for months has finally wrapped up. WashDOT says both northbound and southbound lanes of I-5 near Woodland will reopen on Sunday after a construction project on the North Fork Lewis River Bridge finished up earlier than expected. Traffic was so bad, cars were exiting the freeway onto city and county roads just to get around it.